Yo guys, welcome to a new video. Today I will talk about the entire series of Ironheart, but mostly episode 4, 5 and 6. Alright, so in the second week, Ironheart has already concluded its entire story because Disney just decided to dump it all on Disney Plus instead of giving it some care. You can most definitely see that Disney really did not have any faith in this project. It's because it was pre-overhaul for Marvel, it was pre-overhaul for Disney. This is one of the last products, I think this is actually the last product that Disney still needed to push out before they had done their rehaul of everything. So it's one of the last, I think it's the last live action show. We might have some animated shows left that were made before the rehaul, but this is the last live action show made that way. And what I meant with that rehaul is that Disney decided to overthrow everything that they did with Marvel. Like, they recognized that they made sure that Marvel put out as much content as possible, making sure that they made quantity over quality. And this show is around one of those last projects and before they chose to do quality over quantity again. And it's something you can definitely see in this show. Before we start, I will not do any rage baiting in this one. I don't give a shit that she has an iron suit. I don't give a shit that she is a black girl. And I don't give a shit that there is a transgender person in this series. Absolutely everyone who hates on the series just for those three reasons can most definitely suck their own wieners and fuck off with anything, you might say. With that being said, I have some negativity on this show, also some positivity, but also some negative points. And those negative points come from a genuine care for making stuff and for a genuine care of making series and stuff like that. So with that being said, let's get straight into the positive things, because I do absolutely think also in those last 3 episodes that Dominique Thorne absolutely nailed it as Riri Williams. I can't say the same for her character. I do think the character for Riri Williams did make some questionable choices in this series, but I do think Dominique Thorne nailed the performance of it, especially in those scenes that required a lot of emotion, that required her to have this feeling of grief and have to feel this anxiety. She absolutely nailed it in every single regard in that one, and I can absolutely applaud the series for just giving her that time and for absolutely not rushing anything in the story and leaving her in that moment. I absolutely adore so. But I also said that I don't really condone of Riri Williams, and that's because she just makes some questionable choices. And I don't mean, spoiler alert, this video will have spoilers for the series because it's a series review. So if you haven't watched it yet, go watch the episode first, then come back. I don't give a shit that she killed someone and that she killed Josh. Like, that's logical in that situation, and everyone giving her shit for killing someone but never giving Tony Stark shit for killing so many people. Again, suck your own wieners, stuff like that. But there's also something missing in there, and that's mostly due to the fact, and it's really hard to explain it, but the thing that I missed in this was some repercussions for her character. Like, she feels very selfish in this, and she learns a little bit of it by the end, by having Natalie and stuff like that. And when Natalie went away, it feels like she finally gets some repercussions for that, but then they end the series in a very blatantly bad way, with Natalie returning to the land of the living, with her working with Mephisto and stuff like that, and it really broke it down for me. So there were some choices for the character that I just really didn't like, and I really didn't like where they took her character. Same thing goes for the Hood, same thing goes for Natalie, same thing goes for Ezekiel Stane. I think no character in the finale got what they deserved. I do think the Hood is a little bit wasted. I do think he was quite an interesting character. He wasn't the most interesting, but at least he held the series straight, and it made sure that there was a focal point of hate going towards that guy. Like, this is the problem, we need to fix this problem. And in the end of the series, they just kind of forgot about him to give us Mephisto, which I think is mostly Disney staying back from the WandaVision era and thinking, oh, they love Mephisto, we have to get Mephisto in there. No one will watch Ironheart otherwise, so let's put him in Ironheart. It really feels like that, and it's blatantly obvious. And everything with the Hood is wasted in that last episode just to get Mephisto in, and it does and doesn't make sense at the same time, and it's really, really annoying to watch. The entire finale isn't good. It has some good sequences in it, but it isn't good overall. It's just annoying. Especially after a pretty damn great 5th episode. I mean, I think everyone was expecting Mephisto to show up in episode 5, so I was like, okay, when is he coming the entire time? But of course, they never confirmed it was episode 5. Of course, we had that little red M in that episode chart that we got a week before the series aired. But, you know, they never confirmed him to be in episode 5 already. And when he wasn't, it was, especially, I think everyone in the world was just waiting for him to come. And normally when you anticipate something so bad, the rest of it automatically gets dragged down. And that wasn't the case for Ironheart. Episode 5, that the fight scene in the diner, the fight scene with Zeke, and the fight scenes that happened afterwards, and especially that scene of building the suit afterwards, those were all pretty damn great. The cliffhanger with Natalie going away was good. About that, while we're talking about that, the magic thing and the magic in the suit, not really a big fan of that. I do like this entire tech versus magic thing that they had going on, but adding magic to the suit, I don't know why, but it's not where I draw the line, but I needed more to absolutely love it. I think I definitely liked the suit in the end. I definitely liked that. But I don't know, it kind of felt easy. And how is she able to perform the kind of magic? I know it's because of that little hood part. But is that your explanation? I really didn't like that. I liked the dynamics, I liked the themes that they were talking about, like the grief, and I liked the anxiety, and I liked what they did with Natalie for the most part. I didn't really love Natalie as an AI, and I don't really understand how the AI works. But I respected everything, and then they made that ending with Mephisto. I also think Mephisto is quite wasted. I do think Sacha Baron Cohen did a splendid job as the character, and I do hope we will see him again in the future, but then in a better written show or a better written movie, because I do think he had absolutely nothing to do in this one. Like, why was he there? He was just there to please the fans, and it really, really felt like that. And I don't know why, because in the Ghost Rider movies, he also really doesn't look like a devil most of the time, but I really was expecting him in a red skin and him with horns and stuff like that. I really was expecting some kind of devilish look on him. So to have this fashion man there that previously played Borat, it's somewhere is pretty fun, but I was hoping for a little bit more makeup on that. But when I saw what they did with the hood and making him some kind of bat-like creature, not necessarily, but from the face and the hands and stuff like that, and the bad CGI on that, I was kind of happy that they also didn't go that route, because I was afraid that he might look bad that way. I don't know. I think the series, it's certainly not bad. It's just extremely mediocre. And I do think this series has the same problem that we've had with a lot of Phase 4 and Phase 5. Like, especially, I think one of the best results of that problem is the post-credit scene for Moon Knight. Like, we always said it from the Eternals sticking out of the Earth, like, oh, they never even acknowledged that thing sticking out of the Earth. And now they did in Captain America Brave New World, so I hope something might happen. But we don't know it yet, and it's been quite a few years since Moon Knight premiered, so it's that post-credit scene, we still had known nothing about it. And I do have a feeling that most of the things in Ironheart will suffer the same fate. It was pre-overhaul, so this wasn't part of the less important projects, it's just part of the projects that they needed to get out to get as much stuff as possible out, and I just don't really feel like Marvel is going to acknowledge this series because of the hate it's getting. So will we see Riri Williams again? Yeah, possibly, and quite possibly in Avengers Doomsday next year. And we will see the magic stuff again, but I don't think we will see Mephisto again, or I don't think we'll see the Hood ever again. Zelma, probably never again. And that's quite sad, because they set up so much stuff in this universe that they just never cared to end. And I really do feel like this is going to be one of those projects that they will never end. Of course, we don't know that for sure. Anything might happen. But after a few years, you kind of lose faith in it. Like, I never said Marvel is dead. And I never said Marvel is back. I do think Marvel is still just putting it out and is still making quite good and quite respectable projects. But we have to be honest, there are quite a few loose ends that they made because of that pre-overhaul thing that they did with Disney. And I do feel like this will suffer the same fate. It will never be talked about again, and we will all forget this show even existed by the time Fantastic Four: The First Steps comes out. Having Obadiah Stane's son in Ezekiel Stane, wasn't really a big fan of it, but I respect it because it does tie into the grander MCU, and I love it. The thing that they did with his character in the end, making him some kind of cyborg, I hope we'll see him again, but it really felt all of a sudden like he was in prison and he was an idiot, and then all of a sudden he is a cyborg because they did something to him. But there's no reason for them to do that. Like, okay, we know the reason for the Hood doing that, for so he can control him, but it all felt very quick and very, very easy. And that's something, that's my main and biggest problem with the series. It's just, it felt easy. It felt something that, okay, we'll just put it out so we can get some more money. It felt like a cash grab. And that's the best, that's the worst thing about it. It felt like a cash grab. Alright, but I still decided to give this one 3 stars. I thought it was fine. I just won't remember it whenever Fantastic Four: First Steps comes out. It's one of those more mediocre MCU projects. What did you think of this series? Please let me know in the comments down below, because I'm really excited to hear your opinion on this one. If you are one of those haters that just hated her because she has an iron suit herself and is a black girl, don't bother commenting, just give it a dislike and go away. Alright, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you, and bye bye.